Hey everybody, well, I did it again. I bought another car that I don't need, and this one is a little rough, but let me tell you the story on this car and the reason I bought it, okay? So I saw this car on Facebook Marketplace here in my hometown of BFM, and they had it for sale for a little while, and they wanted quite a bit of money for it. And I looked at it and didn't think a whole lot about it, but it's been on there and no one was buying it because it was still on there. So I decided that I would contact the person that owned it and ask them a story on the car. So the story that I got on this car was that it belonged to a gentleman named Randy, and it belonged to his grandfather. It's been in their family apparently since it was new or almost new. It's a 1965 Chevelle. And of course, I love Chevelle, so you know, I saw it, caught my eye. So anyhow, it's been in his family for a long time. I think since new, but I'm not 100% positive. But he'll get on here and he'll probably verify that. But anyhow, he got it given to him when he was younger, and he drove it for a long time and enjoyed it. And then it got parked in a garage and down in Arkansas. And while it was in the garage, somebody stole. They told me that somebody stole the alternate, or the starter and the headlights out of it. And you can see it's missing the headlights on that side. So somebody stole the alternator and I keep saying alternator. They told me somebody stole the starter and the headlights out of it. And it sat and never got driven. And then they ended up moving up here to Missouri, and they brought it here to where it's at now on a family member's farm, and they parked it here. And unfortunately, there's a couple garages here, and I wish it would have been parked inside of them, but it wasn't. It was parked outside. And the story that I was given was that it was parked about 2009 or 2010, which would have been about 15, 16 years ago. And I'm looking at the car, and I'm fairly certain it's probably been sitting there longer than that, but I don't know for sure. It's pretty dirty and pretty nasty looking. But anyhow, I came and looked at it today. I met with the brother of Randy's wife and came here and looked at it, and it needs some work. It's a little worse than I thought it was, or I was led to believe it was, and so I made them an offer that was less than what they were asking, and they accepted my offer. So let's take a look at it and see what we've got, and then we'll get it loaded up on my trailer and get it to my house, and I'll see what I can do with it because I'm not sure. Okay, so anyhow, I've done a little messing around with it since I've been here, but not a lot. But let's take a look at what we got here. So again, it's a 65. Let me back this thing out. It's a 65 Chevelle. Unfortunately, it's a 4-door. I wish it was a 2-door, but it's not. If it was a 2-door, it had been sold probably 5 or 6 times by now. And really, I mean, it's got a dent there in the fender. And I have some 65 Chevelle parts that I did a video on. And I think I've got the driver's fender, but I'm not sure. But yeah, it's got a dent there. It's got a little dent in the door. And I think I've got the driver's door I got a 2-door, so it ain't going to work. But it's got a dent there that can be popped out fairly easily if you take the door panel off and all that. But, I mean, looking at the car, the rocker panels, you know, there's not a ton of rust in it. A little bit there starting, but not terrible. I could not get the trunk open, so we'll do a reveal of the trunk when I get it figured out, because I think probably they've got the wrong key for it, because they gave me a set of keys, and the keys fit the ignition, they fit the doors, but they do not fit the trunk. So I'm 99% sure it's got a different lock in the trunk, a different lock mechanism, and because I couldn't get the trunk open. Then supposedly there's stuff in there. I don't know what's in there, but I may have to crawl through the back seat and all that and get in there with extensions and take the latch loose and all that. But that's down the road. It is a deluxe 300, which I guess is good. And again, this side here isn't terrible. You know, I mean, it's obviously it's filthy dirty and rough. It had some body filler in here, but it was busted, and I just barely touched it, and it just fell off on the ground. That's just a small dent there, not bad. Again, you know, if somebody's going to do something with this car, you can take that fender off and straighten that dent out really easily with a hammer and a body hammer and stuff. So, but anyhow, that's what it looks like on the outside. Filthy dirty. And another reason I bought it was because, hold on a second, I gotta put my camera up here, or my phone up here, so I gotta be able to open the hood. So I'll just set you guys up here for a minute. The other reason I bought it is because it's a V8 car. It's not a 6-cylinder. Most of these, a lot of these had 6-cylinders in them. And as you can see, something has made an apartment complex out of the engine. So it's really dirty. It's got a bunch of crap on it. I haven't even cleaned it off yet. I was going to do that with you guys now. It is missing. When I got underneath it and looked, I jacked it up. I got underneath it and looked. The starter's there, but the alternator's gone. So actually what they stole was the alternator, not the starter. But it's whatever. I mean, it's missing parts. So they even stole the bracket that goes up there. And so I got to figure out all that stuff. The fan belt's on here, but it's shot. Water pump turns. But the biggest problem that I've encountered so far is they said they drove it here, or it ran when they parked it, you know. Let me back this up a little bit so you guys can see me. They said it ran when they parked it here around 2009, 2010. Okay, my camera's crooked. Sorry. They said it ran when they parked it here around 2009, 2010. They parked it here. It ran supposedly then. But I spent quite a bit of time today trying to get the motor to rotate, and it does not rotate. It's stuck. I even took the, of course, you know, if you know small block Chevys, the 283 does not have a harmonic balancer bolt, so I can't get in there with a harmonic balancer bolt and turn it. But I did take the crankshaft pulley off, which on this car only has one that powers the water pump and the alternator. I took that off. I put the bolts back in the harmonic balancer, and I got a pry bar about this long and was attempting to get the motor to move, and it would not move. So it's stuck. The bad news is, other bad news on this engine is, if we look at it, it's got the oil cap that's supposed to go here is not there. So I don't know what's down inside there. It wouldn't surprise me if mice got down in there and built a home down inside the intake manifold somewhere. And the other bad news is there's no air cleaner in it. No air cleaner element, which means that animals were also able to get into the carburetor. And I don't know if there's, you know, if they crawl. I've seen engines before. I did a video on a 440 engine, a 440 Dodge engine, not too long ago, where the mice actually crawled in through the carburetor into the intake manifold. One of the valves was open, and they crawled down in the cylinder and made a nest down in there. And then they had to crawl all the way back out to get out. I don't know why they did that, but they did. I don't know if that's the case with this one. Obviously, I got to clean it up before I can look at all this stuff, but I got to take all this crap off there before I can do that. So we'll clean that off today. And I think probably what I'm going to do today is I'm going to pull the spark plugs out of it. I didn't bring my trailer because I didn't even know if I was going to buy the thing. But we'll get all this crap cleaned out. We'll pull the spark plugs out of it. I don't have my scope with me, but I'll bring my scope maybe tomorrow, and we'll look at in the cylinders and see what they look like. But I'll spray some lubrication down in the cylinders today. I'll probably pull the carburetor off of it because it's going to need to be worked on. I really don't want to mess with it a whole lot because, unfortunately, it's a 2-barrel. I wish it was a 4-barrel, but it's not. But I want to take the carburetor off and try to get it. I just realized something. The linkage is gone. Oh, look at that. The carburetor. Wow, carburetor does move. Maybe I don't have to pull the carburetor off. Maybe I just take the top off of it. But the linkage is gone, which means I don't have any way to use the foot feet. But it has no brakes either. I did check that. So the brakes are to the floor. But anyhow, let's take a look at the interior because it's a little rough too. So here's the inside. It's got a rubber floor mat instead of a carpet, which is horrible because rubber mats hold moisture underneath of them if you get it underneath of them, and they rot the floor out. And you can see right down there, right where the gas pedal goes, there's a hole in the floor, which is not good. And actually, the accelerator pedal is AWOL. It's gone, so I don't even have a way to do anything with that. That's not good. Of course, the brakes go all the way to the floor. They do move, which I've seen a lot of these are froze up, so they do move. So there's a possibility that maybe I can rebuild put new wheel cylinders on it and bleed the brakes, and it might be okay. I haven't popped the brake master cylinder cover off yet. We'll do that here in a little bit. Look in the ashtray. Nothing in there. Glove box is full of crap from the animals. It does have a radio in it, and it's the old Chevrolet AM radio, so that's cool. It doesn't have gauges. It's got lights. It's got. They said it had a little over 100,000 miles, and they were correct. 102,811. And if you look at the gas pedal, it's got a little bit of wear on it. I mean, I'm sorry, the brake pedal. It's got a little bit of wear on it. Not terrible. So yeah, it's probably got that's probably correct miles. It's a Power Glide 2-speed. It's got low and drive. So it's a Power Glide transmission. There's the brake pedal. Next to that's a snake skin. So obviously through this hole, there was a snake living in here enjoying his life and probably catching animals and all that. And the back door, I cannot get either one of the back doors to open. I'm not sure what the deal is with that. This one here, the button will not go in all the way, but it's loose. So I don't know what it's going to take to get the doors open. And that's going to be a problem because I have to get the back seat out to get in the trunk if I can't get the trunk open. Or I could just drill it out, I guess. But this door here, the button is completely frozen, doesn't even want to move. And that door's loose as well. I have not tried to get inside and open up the door from the inside. I don't know if I can do that or not. It went up. Nope, it did not release. So apparently the latch mechanism in the door is stuck. Hold on a second. Let me get my phone holder. All right. Let me come over here. I tried the passenger door already, or the driver's door, I mean, and it would not come loose. So let's see if I can get this loose from the inside. I don't know if I can or not. No, it's not. The latch is moving, but it's not opening. I don't know why. All right, so that's not good. Okay, the tires did hold air, which is very shocking. The lady that I bought it from said it's got inner tubes in it, and it looks like it does. But of course, they're 30, 40 years old, and the tires are in horrible condition. I mean, you see that big crack in there, you know. Tires are garbage, so they're pretty worthless. But anyhow, all right, so let's, for today anyhow, let's get in here and let's work on cleaning out all this crap under the hood. I did, well, let's look at the oil, get rid of this. Okay, the air cleaner assembly is in really good shape. Well, except it's missing the heat stove. It's, no, that ain't cut off. That's normal. Okay. It's even got the original sticker still on the air cleaner, which is kind of cool. But anyhow, my biggest concern at this point is obviously the engine's locked up, right? But my other biggest concern is this here cap is missing. And I hope to God animals didn't crawl down in there and make a big, huge nest in the intake manifold in the lifter valley. Because if they did, then I'm going to have a lot of problems. Oh, and let's check, before we do all this digging, let's look at the radiator. And it's showing absolutely nothing, which could mean that it just lost fluid. I hope to God it's got antifreeze in it and not just water. I don't know. I took a risk when I bought the thing, whether it did or not. And here's the dipstick. I kind of dug it out earlier. And the good news is, it's black oil and it's not over full, so I don't think it has water in the engine, but it's very low and it's filthy dirty. So it's definitely low on oil. It's been a while since the oil was changed, which is not a big deal. But it obviously is going to have an oil change if I can get the motor to break loose, which I'm not holding my breath on that. It does have the really cool script 283 valve, or yeah, small block Chevy valve covers on it. It's got a dent right there, which is really too bad. But if I'll pull the valve covers off anyhow. But I will pull them off and I'll straighten that dent out when I pull it out. Okay, let's pull the master cylinder cover off. Of course, a car this old has got a single master cylinder for all 4 brakes, which was a really bad deal because back in the day, if you say a brake line broke or rusted in 2 or whatever, you lost all of your brakes. And they finally got enough brains to separate the front and the rear cylinders, and that doesn't want to move. All right, let me grab a hammer. Hold on. So if you lost one brake line, you lost all your brakes. Sorry. All right. Oh, yeah, that... I'm guessing that looks horrible. I might be able to clean that out and make it work. I don't know. But I'm guessing it's probably got some brake lines that are... Just a second. It's got some brake lines that are rusted, and that's probably why that's empty. So that's why we got no brakes. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's just got a bunch of junk in it. But probably the best thing to do would be to put a new master cylinder on it. So that's going to be a problem. All right, hold on just a second, guys. Okay, I'm back. Now let's try to clean this crap off of this engine as best I can. I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to get off, but as much as possible. There's the fan belt, it's trashed. Get this crap out of here. So they thought the starter got stolen off of it, but it's actually the alternator that got stolen off of it, not the starter. But I mean, it's not a big deal. Actually, I'd probably rather be the alternator because it's easier to get to. But I'm not sure if I can get get the starter to turn the engine over or not. I doubt it. It's as stuck as it is. Like I said, I used a pry bar on it and it didn't even move. So basically 100% certain it's not gonna move without soaking it, you know, like we always have to do when we got them locked up. Oh wow. This valve cover over here is loose. That is another bad deal here. Crap. Is that one loose too? No, that one's not loose. Okay, that's weird. I wonder why it's got a valve cover loose. I have no idea, but I definitely don't want to take that valve cover off until I get all this crap out of here. There's a piece of nothing. I wasn't planning on buying any more cars, that's for sure, but, you know, I guess I just can't help myself or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just deranged. I don't know. But at least I got something cool here, right? You guys, I'm sure you guys enjoy seeing a car like this. Hey, there's the transmission dipstick. I haven't looked at that yet. So we can, it just amazes me these animals build these freaking nests in an engine compartment like this. Just very shocking. But I guess to them it's not a car, it's just a place that's out of the weather that they can build their nest, you know? Trying to get all this crap out of here. Need to take it to the car wash, but, well, that's going to be a problem now that this valve cover's loose. I have to get some bolts and put this valve cover back on. I noticed the gasket was hanging down, and then I touched the valve cover, and it's like, oh crap, that's not even on there. That's taken off. Hopefully it's not missing a bunch of parts under the valve cover. I don't know. And the valve cover's on, they're upside down. There's a sticker on the valve cover here. I'll show that to you guys here in a second. Once I get this crap cleaned out of here and I get the valve cover off. Man, I wish I had a Alright, I gotta get a screwdriver. Do some digging in here. I wish I had a broom. I can kind of sweep some of this stuff out of here. Maybe I can find one around this old house or something. I don't know. All right, let me see if I can find something to clean this with. Oh, you know what? Wait a second. Ah. Look what I got in my van. Woohoo! That's cool. Try to get this crap out of here so I can get this valve cover off. I'm just kind of worried about what I'm going to see when I pull it off because there's no bolts holding it on. They're all gone. Hopefully there's not a bunch of missing parts. It's kind of weird that the valve cover's loose like this. Not sure why it is that way. But it is, for whatever reason. Dang it, my broom is stuck in there now. I'm trying to get this crap out of here so I can work without all this dirt and sticks and leaves and everything else that's in here. just looking at this car and looking at the condition it's in, I would really love to see. I'd really love to see what this thing would look like if it had been stored in one of these buildings, which it should have been. I don't know why it wasn't again. I just don't understand why people leave stuff outside when they got a building to put it in. But I would have loved to have seen what the condition of this thing would have been if it had been stored in a building all these years, about down in the woods. Okay. All right, I got that side cleaned off pretty well. Now let's pull this valve cover off and see what we got underneath there. I don't know. All right, you ready? Here we go. Let's take a look. Well, it looks like a small block Chevy engine. I mean, it's not missing any parts. The valve cover gasket itself is trash. I don't really want to pull it off there and there's a bunch of dirt in here that I can see. So I'm gonna have to vacuum that out before I even mess with the motor too much. But you can see it's complete. All the rock arms there, all the push rods are there. That's all good. Thank God for that. I gotta try to get. Oh, so I wanted to show you guys. This is kind of cool. You don't see this very often. I don't know how well you can see that, but it says 283 turbo fire, 195 horsepower. See that? So this was a low horsepower engine, 200 horsepower basically, which ain't much comparatively speaking to all the other small block engines. But anyhow, all right. So now we'll back out again, and we'll go over to this side. Oh, one other thing I wanted to do while I'm on the passenger side, I found the transmission dipstick. Let's pull the transmission dipstick and see what it looks like. Hopefully it looks decent. Well, it's very full, and the fluid is actually pretty nice and red there. It could probably use a fluid change and filter, but I mean, you can see that's not bad at all. So that's good. So the transmission's not burnt up in it. So they're telling me that they parked it here when they moved up here after it got the parts stolen off of it, the alternator, not the starter. But so I'm sure they're telling me the truth about that, because I don't see anything that would cause it not to be able to be driven when it was parked there. Obviously it can't be now because the engine's locked up, but we'll get all this crap cleaned out of here. One thing I'm surprised of here that I see is the I don't see a lot of chewed up. The spark plug wires all look good, man. They all look like they're not chewed on. Usually you find with a big mess like this, you find spark plug wires that have been chewed to pieces. And but these plug wires are complete. They're not chewed up. That's a surprise. Very surprised about that. Oh, one thing I forgot to show you guys. The light, they told me that this vehicle, when it was in Arkansas, was driven occasionally, which, you know, occasionally it could be once a month, it could be once a year, I don't know. But the license on the back, the Arkansas license plate on the back says 1984 on it. So it's been almost about the time I graduated from high school since it was licensed, legally licensed, at least if that's the correct license plate, which I'm assuming it is. So, you know, I don't know how much they drove it after the license expired, but I don't think it was driven a lot. But anyhow, just trying to get this crap cleared out of here so I can hopefully get the spark plugs out without getting a bunch of crap down on the engine. I was really hoping this thing would have a 4-barrel carburetor on it. Well, one good thing, when they stole the alternator, they didn't damage the wires. They just disconnected them, so that's good. I don't have to fix that. All right. The oil pressure sending unit, the wire on it's gone. It's probably been chewed off. This side here, the valve cover's not been off, so at least it was only off on one side, not two. That's a good thing. All right. There's a couple wires. There's a wire there that's been chewed in half. I'm not sure where it goes. I'll be over to either the distributor or the starter, one of the two. I don't know which. Okay, so we got most of that crap cleaned off the motor there. It's not perfect, but I'll have to take it to the car wash to get it the rest of the way. I don't know if the mice chewed that in two or what, but the fuel line's gone. It's got the old flexible upper radiator hose on it. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to get the spark plugs out of it, and we'll look at those. And I'll get some lubricant sprayed in it. And then we're going to let it sit overnight, and I'll come back tomorrow and drag it home and continue to work on it there. Okay. All right, guys, I think that's long enough for this video. So I'm gonna pull the spark plugs out. You don't need to watch me do that. I mean, there's 1,000 videos on YouTube about pulling spark plugs out. Excuse me. So I'm gonna pull the spark plugs out of it, and when I get them out, I'll show them to you guys, and we'll look at them and see how they look, and then we'll go from there. See what happens. I don't know. I hope to God this motor isn't like stuck. I hope it's something that I can break loose. The good news is is when I pull the dipstick out, the engine dipstick, it's got black oil in it, and it's not, you know, above the full mark, which would indicate water in it. My biggest concern, obviously, is the oil fill tube. Someone stole the cap off of it, and I don't know if mice have gotten down in there and built a nest. I don't know, you know. I may end up having to pull the intake manifold off it, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because if I can get this thing running, I'll probably end up putting a 4-barrel on it, because I got 4-barrel intake manifolds, aluminum 4-barrel intake manifolds, and I've also got aluminum valve covers. I've got Holley carburetors. The 600 carburetor look good on this thing with a chrome air cleaner. I don't know if I got a set of headers for it. I have some headers, but you know, I don't know. We'll see what happens. So anyhow, that's enough for now. Appreciate you guys watching. Tell me what you think. You know, I know some of you probably think I'm crazy, which is fine. I probably am crazy. But you know, I don't plan on doing a ton to this car. I did promise Randy that I would, if they sold it to me, I would get it running and driving so he could take a ride in it, because that was his goal all along, was to drive in it one more time. But the motor's locked up, so I don't know if I can do that at this point. I don't know. You know, I know what it's going to take, obviously. But we'll keep working on it, and we'll go from there and see what happens. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Have a good night. Bye.